She was just standing like right here, and then as soon as I hit play, she took off running like a shot. She's too funny. Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is February 2nd. It is also Thursday, 2023. Well, you can see the snow, what remains of the snow on the trees and stuff like that. We had, I don't know, maybe inch of snow on the ground this morning. I mean, actually, I'll show you over here with the solar panels. Of course, the ground is still very squishy. We got a little bit of snow that has sloshed off there, as you can see. There she is. She can't even get her traction. She's slipping in the stuff. So there's more snow there. But so we are getting some sun with the panels, which is a good thing. But yeah, too funny. Too funny. So here's I wanted to share this with you. Who's funding the studies? And I just read an article, and I'll tell you what, guys. I mean, literally, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is just stuff that you just can't make up. So there was a recent study. So there's like the big push to ban gas stoves. They want you to all go electric, right? But they've done nothing realistically to improve the electrical output. So how are you going to make this push to get rid of gas when you don't have the replacement squared away and able to deal with the increase that would be needed for an electric stove? But anyway, so getting off topic here. There was a study done that stated that 12.7% of all asthma cases, right, was linked to a use of a gas stove. So, of course, I had to read on because I found that fascinating, right? But the two study groups, and this is where it gets fun, and this is where you can't make this stuff up. The two companies that were, or the two things that were funding this study were companies that were pushing the use of electric stoves. So they want gas stoves to be gone. And there was other studies done that found no credible link to a gas stove and asthma. But this is the point that I'm making with this. Who's funding the study? So if there's a study done and it comes out with a certain outcome of that study, saying that this is linked to that and that's linked to this, and if this is why we need to get rid of this, what you have to delve into and look into further, what is that, who's funding it, and what benefit would it be to them if said product was taken off the market or these type of things. That's what you have to look at. And I find that it's fascinating. To me, it's absolutely fascinating that this is how these type of things go. That, there's definitely something in it for the people that were funding that study to make gas stoves look bad. There's obviously, we have a big push by the Biden administration to get rid of gas stoves. Like you look at New York State is a great example. All new construction, in New York City cannot have any kind of gas. It has to be electric. Again, that's great in theory. If you want to go that route, that's great in theory. But if you don't have a guarantee to be able to keep that power on, meaning electric, how are you gonna tell these people that, oh well, you have to go with electric, but yeah, you're gonna have power outages and you're gonna go into periods of time where you're not going to have any power. That's just insanity. That's just insanity. But this is the kind of stuff that is thrown at us constantly, and I find that amazing. Another thing I did want to bring up, I want to talk about this for a moment. And I love how, again, what are we using? The tool to divide us. What is the biggest tool out there used to divide us as Americans? Let's see, what would that tool be? Let's see. Oh yeah, race. They're still trying to use race as a tool. So Omar was just kicked off a Foreign Affairs Committee. The Republicans in the House voted to remove her from her seat and I believe it's a couple reasons, okay? I believe it's a couple reasons. The Democrats had removed Marjorie Taylor Greene and an Arizona congressman from their seats because of statements that they have made, right? Inflammatory statements. I love those terms, right? So Omar was removed from her seat, and it was based on 6 different times that she made anti-Israeli statements, okay? Anti-Israel statements. And so that's why they were removing her from that committee. Now, as a politician, now first of all, so part of it, in my opinion, is absolutely revenge in a way, yes. The second part is, as a politician, we all need to be, if you're a politician, you need to be smarter on what you say. You can think and feel any way you want to, okay? If you don't like Israel, whatever, okay? That's your prerogative to dislike Israel. But as a politician, and you're in a position of power, you have to be careful what you say. I mean, it is amazing to me, how these things continue to go on, and they're accepted, and it's the norm, and that's okay. But anyway, she was removed, and they're basing it on the fact of her statements against Israel. Another thing, I got to bring this up, okay, guys, and I got to bring this one up because, in my opinion, the guy is the biggest scumbag, one of them out there, Al Sharpton. So Al Sharpton, I read the article, and I didn't really read the whole thing. I just read the headline of it. Al Sharpton does the eulogy for the young man that was killed by the 5 police officers, who all, at the same time, just to be clarifying, were also all black, okay? And so, he gets up there and does the eulogy. Do you really think that Al Sharpton gives a crap about anybody or anything that doesn't further his own agenda or puts him in the spotlight? I mean, the guy makes me absolutely sick. Let me ask you a question here, and this is just an Al Sharpton question. Do you remember back in the day, and this is when Al Sharpton was still fat. Al Sharpton wasn't skinny at the time. He was still fat Al Sharpton. There was a girl came out, said that she was kidnapped by these whites, and feces was rubbed on her, and Al Sharpton jumped on that like just a shark into a nice baby dolphin, right? Well, it turned out that the girl, Tawana Brown, I think was her name, if I'm not mistaken, because it's been a while, folks, so but I remember the situation of what happened. Well, it turned out that the girl was faking the whole thing. Boy, he dropped her like a hot potato. Why didn't he stand by her side? Why didn't he continue to support her? Right? So again, these people like Al Sharpton, they're like sharks in the water. They're looking for any kind of an opportunity to put themselves in the limelight. Why would he be given that eulogy at that funeral? Why was Harris there at that funeral? Do you think Harris gives a crap about anybody? Harris put so many people in jail when she was a prosecutor. Remember that? But although that's okay. It's like you literally, folks, you cannot make this stuff up. I mean, it is just amazing to me. But I'm not a fan of Al Sharpton's, never have been a fan of Al Sharpton. If he was legitimately doing something to try to help people, then I would say, okay, great. But he's not. He's trying to help himself. He's trying to keep himself in the limelight, keep himself put out there. And there's more than just Al Sharpton. I'm just using him as the, is the person. But why couldn't it be? And here, this is just a weird speculative question, okay? Because that doesn't sell newspapers is probably the answer, and it can't stoke the race relations stuff in a negative light. But why couldn't it have been in the news that a young man was beaten to death by 5 police officers? Obviously, they all needed to be fired and charged, and they all need to go to jail, which they will, okay? But That can't be that way. It's never that way. The only unfortunate thing as far as the news media goes, no, I shouldn't say that because it's probably, I'll rephrase this. Well, let me just think how I want to say this for a second. If those 5 officers that beat that kid to death had been white, I'll put it this way. Oh my God, there would have been riots in the streets. Now, there was protest out there and stuff like that, but boy, I'll tell you what, if those 5 cops had been white, we all know it would have been a different outcome. Would have been a different outcome. And that's sad, and it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. And the media is culpable in this because they stroke those flames. They keep that hatred up, the hatred towards the police and stuff like that. Not all cops are bad. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Have I dealt with some crappy cops? I sure have. We know that. I've talked about the stories, okay? But I've also dealt with some very decent cops. So, again, you never know. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for right now. I'm going to jump off of here. I'll be doing another video later. Remember, we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. We really, truly need to get that one figured out. Hey, get up here. Yeah, I saw you going down there. No. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that is going to stop you from getting there is you. That's it, nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from negativity, stay away from negative people telling you what you can and cannot do. All right? I will talk to you later. I hope you all have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.